In this video, we will show you how to replace your rear window regulator. On this Chevy Trailblazer, this will be located behind your rear door panel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To remove the inside door handle bezel, you'll find that you have 4 small areas that you'll have to use a pocket screwdriver to unlock this. Right here is one of those areas. You can tell it has a small notch. You can bring this right in here and gently pry on this. That corner is unlocked. We'll continue on along the line. There we are. The other 2 just kind of broke free, nice and easy. We'll give this a quick inspection and we can set it aside. Let's continue with our pocket screwdriver. We're going to have to carefully make our way underneath the window switch area. There's a small locking tab in here. We'll just press in on that. We should be able to pry this up. There's that locking tab that I spoke about. Just came right in and pressed it in. Continue on to the wiring harness. For this, there's a small tab directly in the center here. We would press that in and then pull this out. A quick check for corrosion, and we'll set the window switch aside. Inside the door grab handle, you'll find that you have a small trap door. Remove that with your small pocket screwdriver. Underneath that, you'll find that you have 2 7mm headed mounting bolts. Go ahead and remove the pair. Now let's use a plastic trim tool. Carefully come in between the door and the panel and gently start separating this area. Remove your door panel. Now that we have the door panel out of the way, let's go ahead and remove this area. To do that, we'll use a plastic trim tool. Make your way in between that and the door itself and carefully start scraping away the adhesive to break this free. We'll just make our way all the way around so we can fully remove this. Pull the wiring out through the hole. We'll give that a quick inspection and we can set it aside. Now that we have that out of the way, let's continue on to removing the speaker from this area. You'll find that you have 3 7mm headed mounting bolts holding this in place. Let's remove all 3 of those. Take hold of this, give it a little wiggle, and we'll start separating it from the door. Keep in mind, this does have wiring leading to the back of the speaker that we will have to disconnect. Now that we have that out of the way, let's have a look along the back side. We have our wiring that leads to the back of the speaker. Go ahead and take hold of that and disconnect it. A quick check for corrosion on each one of these. We'll follow this up here. Use our trim tool, break that free. And now we can set this aside. The next thing we'll do is make sure that we're holding the window in the upright position. This can be done with several different things. Tape is pretty much the cheapest and easiest. We'll use several strips because tape's a lot cheaper than glass. Once you're sure that the window is securely in the upright position, we'll be continuing down along the door. You'll find that you have 2 circular holes just below the inside door handle. If you were to look inside there, you'll find that each one of these has a 10mm nut. Remove the pair. Let's get the other one. Now let's reconnect our window switch, put the key in the on position, and power the window regulator downward. The window should stay in the upright position. There we are. Let's lower this window regulator just enough that it separates from the window. Now let's pay attention in this area. We're going to disconnect the window motor. You'll find that there's a small squeeze tab. You can squeeze that in with a trim tool or a small screwdriver. Once you have that disconnected, a quick check for corrosion. Set the wiring aside. Speaking of wiring, we're going to follow this wiring up along the window regulator here. It's held in place, so we'll just break that free using a trim tool. Now we can pause with that wiring. We have several 10mm headed bolts to remove, and then we can remove the window regulator from the door. Now we will have 3 of those 10mm headed mounting bolts. There's one here, one over on the side, and one right up along the top. Now let's carefully reach inside the door. Be extremely careful. If the glass starts coming down, get your hand out of the way. Take hold of the window regulator. We're going to have to lift it up because there's a small hook that's right up along the top of the regulator holding it to the door. Lift it up. And now we can twist this and remove it. We'll come over to this cable and break it free from the door. There it is, friend. Okay, friend, let's get ready for installation of our brand new window regulator. Before we put this in the door, let's pay attention to those 10mm headed mounting nuts. These are the nuts that hold the clamps that hold the window to the regulator. Go ahead and loosen those up and make sure you have movement from the clamp. We need to have a small gap on each one of these for the window to slide into. Now we'll align the hook with the slot in the door up along the top here. That should sit right into place. Now we can continue on with starting in each of our 10mm headed mounting bolts. Once we've done all 3, you can go ahead and snug them up. Make sure that's nice and tight. Connect in your window motor. The next thing you'll want to do is make sure you secure it to the wiring harness here. So we'll just use a wire tie for that. Trim off the excess. Secure the wiring harness. Now let's put the key in the on position, take hold of that window switch, and we're going to power the window regulator to the fully upright position. While doing so, you need to pay attention to each one of those 2 clamps and make sure it goes around both sides of the windows. Once we've done so, we'll use our 10mm right up along the top here and tighten those clamps against the window. Okay, I'll pause real quick, double check each one of those clamps. That's good. Tighten the mounting nuts. Let's remove the tape from the window. Now with the key still in the on position, let's test the functionality. Perfect. Remove the key and disconnect your window switch. Let's continue on to the door speaker. Let's reconnect our speaker. The wiring on here. Slide it into position. Of course, you want to make sure it is secured. Let's bring that wiring over here, mount it into its corresponding hole. Tuck the wiring in. Now we can align this with the door and put in our mounting bolts. Now we can get this back in place. Right in this area, there's a small hole for this wiring harness. We'll take that and slide it right on through. Now we can align this hole with the bracket in the door. Up along the top, we have our area for the inside door handle. Bring that right around. Move along to sticking this back to the door in the exact area that you had removed it. Okay, let's get this door panel in place. We'll be taking the wiring harness for the window switch and putting it up through the rectangular hole in the door panel where the switch goes. Now we're going to bring the door panel up nice and high. There is a small ridge that comes across the top this will sit into. Once you have it sitting in the ridge, make your way along the side. We're going to align each one of those push clips and then press the door panel into the proper position. Inside the door grab handle, we'll be putting in our two 7mm mounting bolts. Install your cover. It's got those two locking tabs, one on either side. They will fit into their corresponding holes, and you can press it in. Now it's time for the window switch. You know what to do. Press it in, listen for a click. Give that a little tug. Let's take this and slide it into position, making sure that it's in the proper orientation. Press it down. Double check to make sure it's secured. All right, let's get ready to install our inside door handle bezel. Along the back side, you'll find that you have two locating tabs, one on either side, and you also have 4 locking tabs. We'll take this and put it in position. Start in those locating tabs. Now let's press it in. Should have an audible click from all the way around. Okay friends, we fully installed our window regulator and tested its functionality. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.